Civil society is usually defined as an associational space between governments and households. In the Middle East, the traditional public civil realm has long been characterized by philanthropic institutions rooted in the principles of maslaha, common good, khairiyya, welfare, zakat, almsgiving, waqf, endowment, and sadaqah, charity. These institutions have played a vital role in fostering social welfare and community support. However, the region has witnessed a significant transformation in recent years as it transitioned from traditional to modern societies. This evolution has prompted changes in the way philanthropy and charitable activities are structured and managed, reflecting the shifting dynamics of Middle Eastern civil society towards a more contemporary and globally connected approach. During the second half of the 19th and the first half of the 20th century, the Middle East witnessed a significant shift in its civic landscape, marked by changing conditions for civic activism. This transformation was influenced by various factors, including the emergence of new states in the region, the growth of political parties spanning the ideological spectrum from left to right, the rise of large private initiatives driven by corporations, and the increasing influence of universities, syndicates, and professional associations. Furthermore, charities evolved in response to these changes, adopting more contemporary and efficient structures. Media outlets played a pivotal role in shaping public discourse and raising awareness, becoming integral to the modern civic landscape. Social clubs, encompassing a wide range of interests from sports clubs to cultural associations, emerged as platforms for social engagement, fostering a sense of community and leisure among the populace. In this evolving Middle Eastern civil society, the interaction between traditional philanthropic institutions and these modern civic associations has played an ongoing adaptation and development of the region's social and charitable landscape. However, as many monarchs and newly independent republican rulers sought to consolidate their power, they often undertook measures to curtail the energies of civil society. This trend was particularly notable in countries like Iran, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey, where governments sought to undermine previously influential clerical, judicial, academic, and commercial institutions. The prevailing strategy employed by these authorities, aimed to legitimize centralized authoritarian governance by adopting several key tactics. First, they sought to bring voluntary associations and civil society organizations under the control of the ruling party, effectively limiting their autonomy and independent activities. Second, these governments actively stifled existing organizations and media through a combination of heavy regulation, censorship, restricting the free exchange of ideas, and independent reporting. One significant consequence of these curtailments was the transformation of charitable organizations, which increasingly came under government control, effectively blurring the lines between civil society and the state. This shift in the Middle East political landscape underscored a complex interplay between governments and civil society, with some states actively working to suppress and control these vital societal actors in their pursuit of centralized power and authority. Within the realm of transnational public civil realms, two notable elements have emerged as powerful forces for change and connection, and these two forces actually balance the increasing state control over civil society. The first involves transnational networks, where groups and organizations spanning international borders collaborate and share common objectives. Among these, women's groups have played a pivotal role in advocating for gender equity, empowerment, and social justice on a global scale, and we have seen many interpretations of this in the Middle East, especially in countries like Turkey and Tunisia, in which you have some more stronger secular legacies. The second influential is cyberspace, which has revolutionized the way individuals and organizations interact, communicate, and mobilize for various causes. The digital realm has become a platform for global connectivity and activism, transcending geographical boundaries to facilitate the exchange of ideas, information, and support. In this transnational context, the interplay between women's groups and vast potential of cyberspace has transformed the dynamics of civic engagement, allowing for broader and more impactful initiatives with a global reach. This opportunity especially expanded civic activism among the youth, and we have seen some clear evidence of this in the Arab uprising protests, which happened in 2011 and afterwards. The nature of civic society activities. Let me also briefly talk about how these civil society organizations in the Middle East function. In the Middle East, civil society operates within a multifaceted framework comprising a diverse range of components that collectively influence the region's social and political dynamics. On the one hand, there are licensed and registered organizations. On the other hand, there are informal networks. Licensed and registered organizations play a pivotal role in this landscape, encompassing labor unions, professional associations, women's groups, and alumni networks. These structured entities function as organized platforms for advocacy, representation, and engagement, facilitating interactions between individuals and the broader society. In addition to these formal associations, the Middle East civil society extends to cultural and customary venues, where day-to-day gatherings and informal meetings, often referred as diwaniyas, serve as important arenas for social discourse and community bonding. These spaces provide opportunities for individuals to exchange ideas, share experiences, and strengthen social ties within the framework of tribes and faith-based initiatives. Religious foundations and movements established by various communities, including Muslims, Jews, Coptics, and Maronites, contribute significantly to the region's civil society. These faith-based initiatives play a fundamental role in fostering solidarity, offering social services, and promoting shared values within their respective communities. Moreover, informal gatherings and associations act as vital channels for grassroots engagement, enabling individuals to voice their concerns and advocate for change. Lobbying efforts, whether directed at the government or other institutions, serve as mechanisms through which civil society in the Middle East seeks to influence policies and address pressing issues. In this complex and dynamic landscape, civil society functions both within the established system and through informal channels. Protest activities are also another realm of civil society when the established channels are not sufficient for people to express their problems. Protest activities in the Middle East represent a dynamic facet of civil society, providing a platform for citizens to voice their concerns and advocate for change. These protests often take various forms with specific motivations and objectives. One common theme in the region's protest landscape is opposition to wars and conflicts. Middle Eastern nations have at times experienced periods of political instability and armed conflict. In response, civil society organizations and concerned citizens have frequently taken to the streets to protest against these wars, advocating for peaceful solutions, humanitarian aid, and to end violence. Economic protests are another prevalent form of civil activism, reflecting the economic challenges and disparities faced by many in the Middle East. These protests address issues such as unemployment, inflation, income inequality, and the protesters often demand greater economic opportunities and fair distribution of resources. Furthermore, the region has witnessed a significant wave of protests for political reform, which we have seen in the Arab uprisings after 2011. These movements advocate for increased political transparency, democratic governance, and social justice, but unfortunately, many of these movements ended with repression by the state and even more violence. These protesters often seek to address issues related to political corruption, rule of law, human rights, aiming to reshape the political landscape and ensure more accountable and inclusive government. In a sense, protest activities in the Middle East serve as a means through which civil society can influence and engage with the governments and broader societies on issues that are crucial to the well-being and region stability and development. These protests, whether centered around opposition to wars, economic grievances, or demands for political reform, underscore the importance of civil society's role in shaping the region's future, even under authoritarian circumstances. Authoritarianism doesn't necessarily mean zero protest or zero civil activism, although it puts lots of limitations on civil society in the Middle East.